right, well, welcome, Michael. Thank you for joining us on the AI Infrastructure Roundtable. It's always an honor to have the chance to learn from you. Today, I'm going to give you an opportunity to share what NVIDIA is doing and talk more about its infrastructure. So, if you have a minute, if you could introduce and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, Peter. Thank you for having me here today. Secondly, my name is Michael Sherwood. I am with Nvidia. I'm a senior account manager for state and local government. My job really is to work with leaders to understand AI, how to utilize AI, how to implement it. And it's a great opportunity. I get to go around and work with some of the greatest professionals throughout the U.S. And helping them implement AI solutions.
Well, I remember the work you did in Las Vegas when you were leading innovation there, and I know I learned quite a bit about smart cities. I imagine that experience working in government is really invaluable to you as you now spread the NVIDIA word.
It really is. Being in government for over 25 years, doing different types of jobs in government, everything from law enforcement to plant operations. Las Vegas really elevated my game. I got to do so many great things. It's a fantastic city with a great team of people. Really helped, and that really what made me so, I think, great to help others now with their AI journey, with their technology and innovation journey. Back when you and I first met, it was autonomous vehicles and wireless, and now we're kind of bringing all these things together now with AI, really exploring data and exploring how we just make government much more efficient, and actually creating great digital experiences for the community.
Well, I'm going to bow out at this point and give you the stage. You have a lot of important information, so looking forward to learn more from you, Michael. Take over,
Fantastic.
please.
Thank you, Peter. All right, so a little bit about me, and so been in government for over 25 years. Really, this is a presentation about AI, kind of where we see it, a little bit about NVIDIA, and where the use cases that we see in local government. The first thing I really want to get across to everybody is that NVIDIA is not a chip company. We design chips, but we're more than just chips. We are a complete ecosystem from the hardware that you already know from our GPUs all the way up our stack. We have pre-built models that allow you to implement AI very quickly. And these models work both on on-premise hardware as well as the cloud. Um, and they're kind of grouped into what we call platforms. Omniverse, which you'll hear digital twins, that is under our Omniverse. We have Metropolis, which is our visual search and summarization. That's where you see the video analytics come into play, and other modules and platforms as well. But that gives you a good idea that we're not just hardware, we're actually a software ecosystem that's really driving use cases and opportunities for state and local government. A lot of people think AI is going to replace jobs or replace current jobs that people are in, and that's really not the case. AI really is going to enhance our capabilities. I would tell everybody, I mean, the way that you get through this technology change is to understand and know it. Now, if you don't know AI, now's a great opportunity to learn about it and get involved. On top of our own platform, many other companies that across the United States and the world develop on NVIDIA's platforms. This is just a snapshot of some of the companies that are in the space. A lot of them you know their names. What you probably didn't know is that they actually use our underlying technology or our GPUs in order to create the great solutions that they provide. So what I always like to do is share some, how do you get success with AI? How do you implement projects? So I kind of just lifted here just 5 great success pillars that you should be implementing as you go on your AI journey. First, make sure you have your alignment with your city council, your board, your city manager. Make sure your AI use cases are lining up to their use cases. That's number one for success. Um, Additionally, we see AI projects succeeding when they're aligned with the community and the residents, as well as internal city services. There's still a stat out there that I've seen recently that over 75 AI% of AI projects fail. Again, look, we've all been in IT for a long time. We know the real reason most projects fail is that they're just not well thought out. They're not executed on. There's not a good project plan. So Again, that is a good place. Next would be scalability and sustainability. Make sure your projects can scale. Huge opportunity to make sure that you don't just do a pilot that only can do 3 or 4 cameras, but never move beyond that. So make sure whatever you're doing in your AI journey, that you have the capability of making your solution scale up to wherever it needs to scale to, and you're going to know that best in your environment. Equity, transparency, and trust. Before you take on any AI project, you should understand what your guardrails are for AI, how you want to implement it, what are the policies and procedures for using the tools that you're using. Just like you would for any tool, AI really shouldn't be anything different. Additionally, adoption and workforce enablement. This is a huge area I've discussed in the beginning. AI is new. This is a greenfield opportunity. It may not be new as far as the concept goes, but new as far as being brought into government organizations. So right now, real opportunity to get out there and learn about it, learn how to implement it, learn the backgrounds. When we've gone through this scenario with cloud computing, with wireless, there's always these curves to implement new technology. So educate yourself, get involved, and reach out. And then obviously your project should, hopefully, AI should reduce friction or free up resources or generate revenue for your organization, all types of things that would help you grow. And what NVIDIA does is we provide you with a lot of free resources and tools. Our Deep Learning Institute, you can Google search it, or you can look at the screen and use your phone and go right to the resource, provides a lot of free training, free resources that allow you to learn about AI, learn about different verticals within AI, from physical, from agentic, to RAG models, really utilize the infrastructure and all the resources that NVIDIA provides. Again, there's another great opportunity with NVIDIA, with build.nvidia.com. If you're interested in seeing what some of these blueprints do, you can go to this site, provides you the ability to test them, look at them. Just another great resource that allows you to really lay out your project. This is an example of a blueprint when you log in. Again, it's all free. We have things called NIMs and blueprints, and they will walk you through step by step how to implement a specific AI use case. Now you can build, so this would be building your own, or you can work with a partner of NVIDIA that already has done the building for you, and you just allows you to buy the package and implement it. Again, we're going to see AI across every sector within local government, from human resources to police to fire operations. We're seeing a lot of use cases spread across all sectors of government. It's really your opportunity as a leader to get in front of this, to understand more about the technology and how it's going to be implemented with your organization, and prioritizing. I mean, start looking at where you want to prioritize your AI investment. Is it public safety? Is it economic development? What are those use cases and goals you want to go after? So the top 5 trends we see currently in AI that are being implemented within local government is obviously generative AI and agentic. These are types of agents people are deploying, chat bots, anything to streamline workflows or help people either get information or share information. And that kind of goes to the next level, which is digital assistance. So not only are we actually having these back end development pieces, but now we have a digital human that is actually guiding and assisting. City of Amarillo, Texas is a great example. Emma, you can go out and Google Amarillo, Texas, and it'll pull up a digital human that you can see and interact with. Ask questions about the city, and it will give you answers back. You could also try to ask it about other cities, and you'll see the guardrails within AI take hold, where it will tell you, I don't know what's happening in those other cities. So it gives you a good idea of what you can do. One of the great things I would share with all of you is really know your data before you start any AI project. Getting the data that you're going to utilize for whatever use case you're going after is really, really important. And that will help you with step number 3, which is AI governance, your frameworks, and your guardrails. Every jurisdiction or agency is going to be a little different, but you're going to want to look at some of the policies that others are doing and then kind of adjust it for your own. But you really need to have those governances or frameworks, even at the high level, implemented. That way you kind of keep your project team and your focus on the solution you're implementing, what it should do and what it should not do. So we see a lot of work by cities creating frameworks, creating policies around AI. Additionally, other ones that we have an opportunity to see: road maintenance, road infrastructure, utilizing cameras, utilizing LiDAR. A lot of that is still very prevalent. A lot of people want to know a lot more about their roadways. There's lots of grants, Vision Zero, specifically for really helping cities understand their roads, understanding how cars are moving and humans are interacting with vehicles. So, roadway, road maintenance, road safety, from pothole detection to flooding, all of these types of infrastructure projects. They're not just limited to roadway and traffic. We also see opportunities in water plant maintenance, sewer operations, with either digital twins, safety and security. Do staff have the right hard hats on when they're working with machinery? Are the machines within certain ranges? So all of that really comes around that AI powered infrastructure and service automation. Additionally, another area, number five, we see is citizen facing. We're seeing where council meetings are being ingested and summarized for constituents, which is a fantastic opportunity for government, fantastic service for citizens to be able to interact and work more with their local government organizations. We also see things that are using AI to review budgets and look for inconsistencies, fraud detection, um, image, looking at images and seeing how that might line up as well. Um, so a lot of different things in the service category, but really fascinating time right now. Lots of different things, really almost for every city. Another thing we see here is AI ready states. More and more states are implementing AI based solutions, opportunities for cities to partner with states. Um, States generally have more resource allocations from a capital perspective. So, starting to have conversations with your state leaders about AI and how they're going to implement it across the state is really good for cities to start thinking about, for counties, and how they're going to exchange data. There's going to be so much more data, synthesized data. Um, how are you going to utilize that and share it? And so we see this trend now of AI ready states. And it's really opportunity for city and county governments to start working with the state as well, and seeing how they might be able to utilize either additional AI resources or computing capabilities to improve their organization's capabilities. These are just some of the states that are out there as far as what they've done. We have Empire AI in New York. We have Georgia Tech in Georgia, and the Hypergator in Florida. These are all jurisdictions that have statewide AI initiatives where they're pulling in local government from a data perspective, and creating some really unique outcomes.
Well, it's great advice because you've lived it. Let me dial it back and come back to sort of just platforms. The GPU is the game changer, and it's the clustering of GPUs that really is what's enabling this quantum leap, right? Can you talk about, just in basic terms, what the GPU is and then how clusters operate?
Sure. I mean, it's really the essence of a GPU is moving data quickly. Think of it as a multi-lane superhighway versus a CPU, which is a single roadway. Now, the world needs CPUs. The world needs GPUs. And of course, Peter, you mentioned quantum. Totally new conversation to have. Maybe a whole new industry coming sooner to local government than one might think. But let's head back to the GPU. GPUs allowing you to move data at a speed and pace that's really we've never been able to do. When I was doing smart cities back in the mid 2015, 2017 timeframe, we didn't have that capability. So a lot of the analytics and things just weren't possible because there wasn't enough bandwidth available and to push data and to look at data and analyze. Imagine, an AI solution that's looking at a roadway is analyzing every pixel that's coming through on the camera, which is phenomenal. And so obviously the more GPUs you cluster together, the more data you're able to move or review to create outcomes. And so that's when you start hearing about the terms AI factories, multiple GPUs working together. I would say for some of us that have been in an industry for a while, think of those small one-use servers as a single GPU. It's almost like VMware, your virtual environment. You're basically taking a bunch of machines that have GPUs in them and putting them all together, kind of creating a super highway of super highways that are able to, bring in data, analyze it, and provide results. Almost I could think of, in the simple terms, Chat GPT, where you're entering text in, it's searching through thousands of libraries of information to provide you a response. Same thing if it was video, it's going to go through, look at all the video you have within your environment, and then provide you responses back. The more GPU, the faster that processing will be. Obviously, if you have several years of video data, you will need more GPU to process all of that to be able to get you the answers you want.
Okay, so a local government trying to then, do they need to be building their own giant data center and trying to acquire this equipment, or how do they get past the basic level and get into being operating on a
Sure.
platform?
Yeah, so that's another great question. I mean, look, you have so many opportunities in local government that we've never had before. You have the capability of utilizing cloud providers, your large ones, all provide GPU services. And you can also start small and expand. So there are on-premise servers, all the major OEMs provide them. And you're able to start with 1 to 2 GPUs and continuing to add on to that cluster as you need to. It's really before you worry about the infrastructure, focus on your use cases first. If you understand the use cases, it's easy then to pick versus cloud or on-prem or a combination of both.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. One last concept that I want to bring up, sovereign AI. That is a terminology. You talked about an AI factory. Can you talk a little bit about what a sovereign AI means?
Sure. I look at it this way. The easiest way to look at it is your data is your data. You want to keep it sovereign, meaning keep control of your data. Data for every local government agency is probably more valuable now than it's ever been, and its value will continually rise. It'll become a commodity that you might, as a city, be able to trade or monetize even to be able to industry. Think of this as an example. You put out cones in your city for construction work, autonomous vehicles probably want to know that information. So the ability for you to have sovereignty over that data and share it out to who you want is extremely important. You don't want to just take your data and dump it out there and let people manipulate it without you having control. So it's really sovereignty is meaning it's your data, your control. And that's, as a city, you want to control your data. You only want to put out data sets that you feel have value to the community and that won't do something to your organization that puts your organization in jeopardy. So think of it kind of as a little bit of PII, where you're wanting to control your information, but you're sovereign as far as you're keeping it your data, your control.
Okay, and then the local government, cybersecurity and governance, and there's all sorts of rules about that data. How do they build that? How do they build their own language model to interface with the large language models? How does that all come together?
Sure. So, look, I mean, first, as you start your journey out, knowing your data for your organization is important. You can't build a language model. You shouldn't even be talking about building anything until you know your data. So know where your 911 data is, know where your business license data is, know what's involved in those databases. Once you have that information, building your own language model is not difficult. There's lots of tools out there, lots of people to help you. And it's kind of a good thing to start with your own language model. One of the best solutions we've seen local government do is take all their HR data. not employee data, but their information about their health insurance, information about pet insurance, days off, how do you ask for vacation, and put all that data into an LLM and then allow people to ask questions. So it's great if you're working at a city at 1 in the morning, HR is not available. You could go in there, ask about health insurance, and that's teaching you about guardrails. It's teaching you about data sovereignty, and it's really helping you build something that is practical and useful without creating any necessarily security consequences. So those are the type of LLMs we look at. Smaller ones do smaller, as a starting point. As you grow, you can then take your LLM and hook it to the internet and allow it to go search as well for additional information. I think for local government, that's still a ways away. I would just
Mhm.
more focus on controlling that sovereignty, controlling your data and keeping your data and serving it to your constituents in a controlled manner that you as the local government agency manage and maintain.